Hey everyone, I thought I'd stop in on the channel again and do another little tour and then plant the peach tree. If you watched the video that I posted originally of my flower bed, I did buy a peach tree. It's been about a week since that video has taken place, and unfortunately I just haven't had the time to plant it. So I think I'm going to try to find a spot for that today as well, and I thought while I do that, it might be nice to show you the rest of the trees that I have. So there are a couple trees that are very well established, a couple maple trees, this one in the background that you can see. So the trees that I want to show you are the ones that I've actually planted on the property. A couple of them were from a friend who got them from the Arbor Foundation, and so I had actually planted 5 originally. Unfortunately, the 3 that I planted in my backyard did not make it. One of them actually was completely my fault. I forgot it was there and ran over it with the lawnmower. But I do have 2 out front. One's technically a bush, but I'll show you that as well. So those 2 have been here for 4 years. I have a couple red buds that I'll show you as well. And I have also 2 corkscrew willow trees, which are super fun. So we'll take a tour around the property and take a look at those. So here is the first red bud tree. So my aunt has been an avid gardener her entire life. She actually just turned 80 this past month, and so a lot of the tips and tricks that I get are from her. And she had a red bud tree in her yard that she ended up getting 2 I guess twigs from, and then ended up putting them in soil, and they rooted, and she gave them both to me. And I have the first one planted. You can see kind of up here, that's how tall it is. When I planted it, it was probably about 2 foot tall. So it's done really well. As you can see now, it's got some buds that are super gorgeous, and you can see the little, hopefully you can see the bee on the tree. So that's always fun. I love this time of year because they are just absolutely gorgeous buds. So a lot of fun to see this one grow. I think I am going to clip it back a bit to start kind of manipulating it how I want. I didn't for the past couple years because I kind of wanted to see what it was going to do itself, but I think I'll probably clip some of these twigs back, just again so I'm not hitting them with the lawnmower, and I really just want it to go up. I don't want it to be so wide. And this is the second one, so it's definitely not as big. It doesn't get as much sun. As you can see, the maple tree over here kind of blocks a lot of that. So I mean, it does get the afternoon sun, so I don't know if that's why. It is a little bit higher up in elevation than the other one. Not elevation. So you can tell this one's not as tall. It definitely hasn't bloomed as much as the other one either. But you can see some little life forms coming. There are a couple buds here as well. But I think within the next week or so, it'll probably take off. It does look like there are some popping up. This one is doing a little bit better, I think, as far as growing, you know, taller, not so much wider. But I do think, again, I'll probably trim some of these bottom limbs. Eventually. They're not terrible right now, but we'll kind of, I think I'll probably wait another year and see you know, what this one decides to do as well, before I start cutting at it. So again, if you watched the first video, there were no plants on the property except for 3 bushes along the side of the front of the house. I did plant those 3 bushes, and I actually split them into several different ones, and I put them at the back of my property, kind of in an L shape. I'll kind of stand back and and we'll kind of go through these so hopefully you can see them. I'm not sure, in all honesty. I'll have to look and see what type of bushes they are. These will eventually bloom, which at the time I did not know that. I just thought they were a bit of an eyesore. They were actually growing up into my siding on the house, so that's why I wanted to move them. I just didn't want them running the siding. Here's Paisley. She's a big nature lover too. My 108-pound Great Pyrenees. She's 3 years old, so you gonna say hi to everyone? So I actually have 7 different ones that I split. So again, they provide a lot of kind of coverage and seclusion. I do need to probably trim some of them back as well. They've gotten a little unruly, but I actually think I might, I don't know if I'll do it this year, but I might actually split some of these and put some of these on the opposite side of the property, maybe in an L shape too. You can kind of see now what I'm talking about. There's 4 long ways and then 3 across that other side of the fence. All right, so here's another tree that I planted. Again, when I put it in the ground, I think it was probably, it was a little bit taller, again, because of the texture of the limbs. I'd say it was about 3 foot tall, but it was just one single piece. And so you can kind of see now it's well over probably 7 foot tall in some of these top branches that you can see. And this is also a tree that I received from my aunt, the same one that gave me the red buds. This tree is just so much fun. I love the texture of the limbs. It's just kind of wild and crazy, and it just does its own thing. It's just really a gorgeous piece to my backyard. I really enjoy it. They're super easy to propagate. So I'll show you here in a moment one that I actually cut off of this tree that she gave me. She has one in her yard as well, so this is where this one came from her tree, and then I cut one of the limbs off of this probably, it would have been 2022, at the end of 2022, and I actually planted that in another area of my yard, and it's doing really well too. So I have a lot of standing water. I don't know if you can see right here and kind of back here, but I mean just constant standing water, especially in the springtime. But a lot of fun that these trees are. So I actually just decided to kind of manipulate this a little bit differently. I do have my pool. Didn't think it through. This shouldn't get, I don't think, as big as like your standard willows, but I don't want it hitting the pool or getting in the way of the pool. So you can kind of see that in the background. So actually just re-staked this right here to kind of pull it a little bit, you know, more to the right than what it was. Again, a lot of this, you know, as it continues to grow, I can kind of cut some of the limbs off. Again, that's not gonna hurt anything, but super excited about seeing this tree just completely take off this year, especially. I mean, it was a decent size last year too, but it's definitely grown. Definitely that soppy water, as you saw a little bit ago, definitely helps. But let's take a look at the other corkscrew willow that I planted. So this is the other one, again in a super saturated part of my yard. Most of the parts of the backyard are. So this guy was probably about yay tall when I planted him. I did just cut the limb. So essentially, if I wanted to, I could cut this piece right here, you know, at the V, stick this in some water, and when I start seeing it to root or grow roots, I would just put it in the ground. And so these are super easy to propagate. Again, it might be something I do again. I haven't decided yet, but we'll kind of see how this one takes off. But so far so good. Again, this has been, I think about a year and a half that I planted this one. So, and again, it was a cutting off of the tree that I just showed you a moment ago. So really excited again to see this corkscrew willow take off. So this is my dogwood bush, and actually when I planted it, I was under the impression that it was just going to be a tree. This thing has gotten absolutely massive. I actually planted one on the exact same day at my mammal's house, and it's literally about a quarter of the size of this. So you can see kind of all the way to the top right here how tall it has gotten, how wide it's gotten. I did cut it back quite a bit last year, just because it was getting unruly and really difficult to mow around. You can see it's gotten pretty, it is pretty wide as well. Kind of looking at it now, I might have to do a bit more trimming, you know, here in the next week or so. But it's exciting to see it starting to kind of sprout as well. Towards the end of the late spring months, it will actually flower some really pretty white flowers. You can actually kind of see some spent debris of those. I don't trim it as far as these are concerned. I've never needed to. It seems like it does okay. I might actually come through now that I'm looking at it and trim some of this, maybe in the next week or so. But yeah, this bush is definitely thriving. Like I said, no, it's not a tree. I always have wanted a dogwood tree. Maybe at some point I will get one, and hopefully it'll actually be a tree. But that's okay. I'm glad I still planted it. It's been a fun bush to have in my yard. All right, last but not least is the crabapple tree that I planted. So again, the dogwood bush and this crabapple tree I planted November of, actually I think it was December of 2019. And so again, this guy was probably about 2 foot tall when I planted him, well over, I would say 10, 11 feet now. So really excited about this crabapple tree too. And this is actually the first year that I have seen flowers on it. So that was really exciting. I was actually sitting on my couch a couple days ago and noticed that it had started flowering. So really, really excited about that. I do need to come through and get some of these weeds out. I know the bees aren't going to be happy because I just saw them kind of hanging out. I did put some gravel around this a couple years ago, so I just need to come through and get some of these weeds and the grass out. Well, that's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed seeing the different trees that I have. I know they bring me a ton of joy, especially a lot of them are very sentimental, as they come from some of my family members, and that's always fun. So if you've liked what you saw today, subscribe, leave me a nice comment. If you didn't like it, that's okay. You don't have to, that's fine. Just keep all your negative comments to yourself if you would. If you did like it though and you want to see more, let me know. I have a couple other ideas that I'd like to maybe expand on, again, depending on how things go with these videos. But thanks so much for taking the time to hang out with me. Have a great day.